Now on Sunrise streaming at 7 o'clock, reports of a shooting near a church in Northeast Portland. What we know so far in just a minute. Plus,
I went for a walk this morning around 8:30 and I got hit by a car.
Portland police are searching for a driver who hit this man in Old Town yesterday before driving off.
And the Portland Pickles suing Disney. Talk about David versus Goliath here. Why the Pickles have decided to take on the media giant.
And we're live from McMenamins Edgefield Gardens this morning for a preview of some Mother's Day activities. Sunrise streaming at 7 o'clock starts right now. Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Friday. I'm China Green.
Not just any morning, a Friday morning here on Sunrise, our 7 o'clock hour live on KGW+. And we're not alone. We have Ashley Graham's handling traffic for us this hour. Chris McGinnis manning the Weather Center.
And let's show you what has been one of the most beautiful cameras all morning long. Our Chehalem tasting room here in Sherwood, showing beautiful bright sunshine over the Sherwood area. You can see Mount Hood there off in the distance. Chilly. It's 42 right now in Sherwood. We'll switch gears and take you out to Oregon's Veterans Home in the Dalles. You can see the tippy top of Mount Hood there. 44 last check there. Light east breeze in the gorge this morning. By the way, I wanted to point that out. The breeze this weekend, especially tomorrow afternoon, we're going to get a pretty good west breeze through the Columbia River Gorge this weekend, specifically tomorrow afternoon. 46 right now at PDX, the freezing level up at 11,000 feet higher than yesterday at this time. And that means eventually we will have higher temperatures than yesterday. That said, it's chilly this morning. It's 40 right now on Battleground. That's actually up from 37 earlier this morning. Tigard right now sits at 42. And as we go down to the south, our state capital checking in with 45. All right, here's the plan for Friday. Beautiful sunshine, upper 70s to just shy of 80 degrees with slightly increasing clouds late this afternoon. A warmer day today, a cooler day tomorrow. And yes, there is rain in our Sunday Mother's Day forecast. I'll walk you through that with Futurecast coming up in just a few minutes. First, Ashley's got a look at your Friday morning traffic.
Yeah, good morning, Chris. Man, things are looking good this morning if you are headed out. I mean, take a look at all this green on the map here. We're talking North Portland all the way up into Vancouver. I don't know if people are enjoying a 3-day weekend. Maybe, you know, they're working remote on this Friday, but here's a look at I-5 at Lombard. Plenty of elbow room out there. Similar story as you head out toward the Gateway area. This is Interstate 84 at Halsey. You see people just moving right along. And here's a look at the west side. Sunset Highway at Sylvan. Now, I do have a reminder for those of you who take the Max Blue line. We've talked a lot about this for the past 2 weeks. The East Burnside Max Improvement Project, it ends tomorrow. So if you've been having to take shuttle buses, things are going to be back in working order. Guys.
All right, thank you, Ashley. Developing this morning in Northeast Portland, police responded to a shooting near a church and a school. So this happened just before 2 a.m. in front of Trinity Lutheran Church near the intersection of Northeast 55th and Killingsworth. Video from that scene shows an ambulance taking someone to the hospital. We did reach out to Portland police for more information about what happened, but we're still waiting to hear back.
A Southwest Portland preschool says its security guard was forced to shoot a man yesterday when he was threatened and assaulted. The guard was in the parking lot of a medical clinic next door to the Gone, which is a Jewish preschool on Southwest Capitol Highway. The man who was shot was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. Authorities say that the security guard has been cooperating, and at this point, there's no word on any charges. The school says please do not believe the disturbance was related to the school or a result of anti-Semitism. Portland police are searching for the driver who hit a man while he was crossing the street in Old Town.
That man is scheduled to have hip surgery this morning. He also told us he's thankful to be alive. So this happened just after 8:30 yesterday morning, as Ed Anderson says he was taking his daily walk in Old Town. He says when he got to Northwest Flanders and Broadway, he pressed the walk signal and started crossing the street. But that's when he says an SUV turned and ran into him.
And they didn't stop. They didn't. I thought they accelerated, as far as I'm concerned.
Medics drove Ed to the hospital, and doctors determined that he broke his hip. The SUV is described as maroon or possibly red-orange in color. Portland police are asking anyone with information about this to get in touch with them. A Multnomah County judge sentenced a man to 12 years in prison for robbing a 98-year-old shopper in a Winco parking lot last Thanksgiving. We're going to show you surveillance video here. China, you said earlier this is difficult to watch. You can see that 98-year-old shopper coming out of the Northeast Portland Winco near the Gateway Shopping Center off I-205. Another man gets out of that tan Mercedes. He grabs the 98-year-old's wallet out of his back pocket, knocks him to the ground, and then you see the car take off and you see the 98-year-old. His name is Frank Leon. Lying there on the ground. He was bruised and bleeding. Karan Jones is the man who was in that Mercedes. The judge sentenced him to 12 years in prison for assault, robbery, and identity theft. We spoke to Frank Leon's nephew.
I would just hope that people, pay attention to elderly people when they're in parking lots, or keep an eye on them if you're around one. Wait till, if they're going to their car, maybe stop what you're doing, just make sure they get in their car and they drive away safely, or, just be more aware of the elderly.
Again, that was Frank's nephew, who says his uncle was very independent before this happened, but he hasn't been cleared to drive his car since the assault. And his nephew says that has been really hard on his mental health. In an update this morning, a judge in Seattle ruled that 38 passengers on board the Alaska flight that suffered a door plug blowout over Portland last year can proceed with their lawsuit. Lawyers for the plaintiffs say they're trying to prove outrage against Boeing. So in a legal setting, outrage basically means misconduct that is intentional or reckless, and outrageous or extreme in character. Federal transportation investigators found the 4 retention bolts used to secure that door plug on board the plane were not reinstalled following repairs. A final report from the NTSB is pending.
Albertsons is set to close its Southwest Portland store this July. So this is the one that's on Southwest Beaverton Hillsdale Highway and Shattuck Road. The company says most, if not all, of the 87 employees at the location will be offered jobs at other nearby Safeways or Albertsons stores.
All right, it's the case of the little guy taking on the big guy. China Green, what's your favorite baseball team?
Pickles.
The Pickles are taking Disney to court. So here's the situation. Earlier this week, the Pickles filed a trademark infringement lawsuit against Disney. They claim that Disney's new animated series, Win or Lose, which features a softball team called the Pickles, uses similar logos and merchandise to the Portland Pickles. So again, our Pickles, the Portland Pickles, are seeking an injunction. They want Disney's profits from the alleged infringement, and they're also seeking punitive damages. We reached out to the big guy, Disney, for comment, but so far we have not heard back.
Your time now is 7:07 on this Friday. We're taking a live look from McMenamins Edgefield in Troutdale. We're getting ready for a Mother's Day event this Sunday over there. Mother Earth Plant Sale and Eco Fair. It's featuring local plants and garden vendors, garden talks, tours of the Edgefield Gardens. We'll have more coming up from the gardens coming up at 7:45.
All right, right now it's time to check in with Chris McGinnis. Is that the state capitol building behind you there, Chris?
It's the garden gnome.
That's a big one.
He is big. You wouldn't know it because I can hold him in my hand right now. This is the Oregon Pioneer atop the state capitol in Salem. 22 feet tall, right? But our camera zoomed in, and look at the sun just gleaming off the eastern flank there. It's bright. It's sunny. The valley forecast today calls for plenty of sunshine. It'll be warmer as well. Our state capital gets up to about 76, McMinnville 75. Let's switch gears, take up to Southwest Washington. Should be a good looking day today. I got some clouds on the map, but they're like the high thin variety, which means we sort of filter the sun a little bit, but not before Longview gets to 75 and Vancouver gets to 78. At the beach today, partly sunny with increasing clouds, highs in the low 60s in Astoria and Pacific City, Newport just shy of 60, and the Columbia River Gorge, wildflowers in full bloom here. Lower 80s out towards Hood River and the Dalles. A light west breeze today. That breeze will really ratchet up through the gorge tomorrow afternoon. I love this shot. This was taken a few years ago from House in the Metolius. There you can see Mount Jefferson off in the distance there, and a little bit of ground fog, right? The Central Oregon forecast is really nice today. It's sunny and warm with highs in the low to mid 80s. Bend and Madras getting up to about 84 and hopping out into the eastern part of the state. After a chilly start, Baker City started off the morning in the upper 30s. You get to about 83 this afternoon, so a full 40+ degree warm up across that corner of the state. Here's a look at Futurecast today, and again, some high thin cloud cover approaching the region from the west, but all in all, a really good looking day, and today is easily the warmest day of our next 7. Early tomorrow morning, I'll stop Futurecast at 9 a.m. Our modeling suggesting some light sprinkles hitting the Oregon coast. It's doubtful that any of those make their way over the coast range, so we might have some clouds tomorrow, but I don't think we're going to see any rain. If we do, it'd be a quick spit, and that's it. All right, let's get into Sunday. The modeling here on Sunday has backed off the rainfall amounts for Mother's Day itself. The leading edge of this system goes to the south initially, and what that means is that while I do have rain in our Mother's Day forecast, there's going to be a lot of dry time as well, with a high of about 64. So a few showers, perhaps the wettest part of our 7-day may be on Monday, with a chance of a rumble of thunder as well. I've got high temperatures in that part of our forecast in the low 60s. Ashley, how are the roads looking on this Friday morning?
Yeah, not too bad. We're in really good shape. I mean, anytime that you see an entire green map here, especially with 84 and 205 at this time of the morning, usually 7 a.m. is when things start to ramp up, but we're sitting at 7:10, and I'm not tracking any major delays at this hour. I'll give you a look at 84 at 53rd Avenue. You can see plenty of elbow room out there this morning, and that's a similar story here on Interstate 5, not far from the Interstate Bridge. We had a crash earlier this morning, taking up 2 of those southbound lanes. Things backed up, but since then, man, we have not had any issues here to speak of. That's kind of the similar here on the west side as well. This is a look at Sunset Highway at Sylvan Hill. Things moving right along. We'll give you a look at your drive times here. You can see we are all in green. 9 minutes to get you down to I-405 from Main Street on I-5 South, and we're in green on the rest of the interstates as well. Westbound 84 in good shape. Guys.
Thank you, Ashley. For the first time in its nearly 2,000-year history, the Catholic Church has a U.S.-born leader.
Chicago-born Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost is now Pope Leo XIV. NBC's Jay Gray has more on the history-making decision.
The crowd erupts in celebration as white smoke pours from the chimney atop the Sistine Chapel, reaching a frenzy just over an hour later as the first American-born Pope, Leo XIV, is introduced to the world.
I'm so shocked to have an American Pope, but I feel so blessed that God has driven me here, and this is amazing.
Stepping out on the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, his first words include the familiar Catholic refrain, "Peace be with you all." Speaking in Italian and Spanish, he praises his predecessor, Pope Francis, making it clear he will follow in his footsteps, calling for an open and united church and urging the faithful.
Help one another to build bridges through dialogue, through encounter, uniting everyone to be one single people, always in peace.
The 69-year-old entered the conclave as Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost. Born in Chicago, he studied at Villanova University and earned a Master's of Divinity at the Catholic Theological Union in his hometown. Ordained in 1982, he served in Peru for nearly 40 years before being appointed cardinal and called back to Rome by Pope Francis in 2023.
Amazing! So close. Oh, I love it. I love it. You can imagine.
After blessing the crowd, the new pope spends several minutes waving, then standing silently, taking it all in. The first American pontiff. Jay Gray, NBC News, the Vatican.
And coming up, Thomas Schultz will join us in our next half hour with more on the local reaction to the announcement of the new pope.
All right, still to come here on Sunrise, new video that shows the minutes leading up to the 2022 murder of 4 students at the University of Idaho. Also coming up here on the show, we're talking about the Video Game Hall of Fame. Which classic games got a high enough score to enter the hall and which ones found out it was game over. Also this morning, we've been checking out all the gardens over there at McMiniman's Edgefield in Troutdale. That's because they're hosting a big event on Sunday for Mother's Day. They're calling it the Mother Earth Plant Sale and Eco Fair. They're offering tours of the grounds that day, workshops for gardeners. We have a lot more on this event coming up in our next half hour with a live interview with one of the Edgefield gardeners. That's at 7:45.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
KGW's Evening News. Important stories to help you stay informed and keep your family safe.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Pitawanich.
And I'm David Molko.
Weather impact alerts to help you plan your week.
We need to be extra careful with anything that can throw a spark.
And a team of local journalists connected to our community. David Molko, Christine Pitawanich, and Matt Zafino. Your Evening News team, tonight on KGW.
I thought you were about to say something. No. We talked about the Toy Hall of Fame here before, but did you know, China Green, there is also a video game Hall of Fame?
I was not aware of that. I don't really know video games, nor do I play them, but we'll see if I know any of these guys.
Okay, I'm going to give you the list of winners, if you will. Into the World Video Hall of Fame this year, a classic from the 1980s, Defenders. Have you heard of that one?
No, yeah.
I do remember Defenders from the 80s. I don't know this one so well. From the days of Nintendo 64, GoldenEye 007.
Nah.
A James Bond video game, I guess. Nah. This one I have no idea about. Quake? No. I'm told it's you know Quake?
No.
Oh,
I know Tamagotchi.
No, Tamagotchi made the cut. Tamagotchi, Quake.
Frogger.
Well, you know what, Chris? We show Frogger here, but Frogger did not make the cut because, yes, we're also talking about losers this morning. Games that found out it's game over. Frogger, Call of Duty 4, Mattel Football, and Angry Birds.
Angry Birds?
Yeah, not making the Hall of Fame cut this year.
I don't think they're old enough yet. Angry Birds is like 10 years old?
That was like a cell phone game, right?
I don't know what the qualifier. Yeah. My kids played it on the big screen too. I don't know what the qualifier is for the cutoff, like how long you have to be on the market for. But I don't know. Angry Birds I've heard of. What was the one Quake?
No,
never heard of Quake.
No.
What about Super Mario Brothers?
That may already be in.
Had.
Yeah, I think it's already in the Hall of Fame.
Metroid.
Well, now I have to look up.
Legend of Zelda.
Listen, while you do the weather forecast, I'll look up and see if these games you're mentioning are already in the Hall.
By the way,
what did you say?
I'm ashamed to admit this. I'll admit it. I never beat Super Mario Brothers.
Angry Birds was made 16 years ago. So
is that what Michaela just said?
I don't know. Yeah, our producer. I don't know if it qualifies just yet.
Okay.
Maybe it has to be
you
20
years.
Like
2 decades before you get there? Okay, fair enough. All right, let's get you out the door. Here's a live look from downtown Portland, our Wells Fargo sky camera. The light shimmering off the Willamette down below. The sunshine is bright out there this morning, and we are starting to warm up a little bit. It's 46 last check at PDX. Also, I threw on the freezing level this morning. That's from the balloon launch that they do twice a day in Salem. They send that instrument package up through the atmosphere, and it sends back readings, temperature, humidity, wind direction, all that. The freezing level is up to 11,000 feet, higher than it was yesterday. What does that mean? It means the air mass above us is warmer than it was yesterday. So ultimately today will wind up being warmer than yesterday. That said, it's chilly. It's 43 right now in Hillsborough. It's 45 in King City. You started the morning, by the way, in King City in the 30s. 45 in Salem, and hopping over the Cascades, Baker City. Good morning to you folks. 44, 51 right now in Pendleton. All right, the plan for today is just gorgeous. Lots of sunshine, increasing high, thin clouds late in the day, and I think that may be about the only thing that keeps us from hitting 80 degrees. I've got us at 78. Futurecast has us at 80. The AI is probably right, but anyway, here it is. Futurecast says 80, 78 to 80. You get the idea. A warmer day today. Let's hop over the Cascades. A much warmer day. The Dalles 83, Pendleton 81. John Day, after a start in the 30s, you're going to be in the mid 80s this afternoon. So a full 45 degrees warmer plus today east of the Cascades than you started off the morning. How about that for a Friday? All right, as I mentioned, Futurecast shows the high thin cloud cover scooting in later this afternoon. Again, it's just enough to kind of veil out the sunshine just a little bit. Fast forwarding into tomorrow, your weekend, 9:13 tomorrow in the morning. A little green line showing up here on the map. There could be some very light rain showers along the coast. Modeling suggests that stuff washes out before it gets inland. Now, that's not to say we wouldn't get a quick spit of rain here or there, but generally the forecast tomorrow is dry, but certainly cloudier for Saturday. Then we get into Mother's Day Sunday, and I'll stop it here early Sunday morning. You see a few green blobs on the map early. We have been talking about rain chances, showers in our Sunday forecast all week for Mother's Day, right? So we're confident that we're going to see some rain, but I can tell you that the trend over the last 36 hours has been to dial back the overall rainfall amounts for Sunday itself. And you'll see what I mean here. Futurecast only spitting out a few hundredths of an inch of rain for the I-5 corridor on Sunday through late Sunday night. Late Sunday night, overnight into Monday, that system finally whips ashore here and may bring us more significant rain. But in the meantime, Sunday itself doesn't look all that wet. 64 with some showers on Mother's Day Sunday. the air mass aloft is cool enough that we could set the stage for some rumbles of thunder on Monday, I should say, and that any thunder showers would obviously be significantly more rainfall, but Sunday itself doesn't look too bad with a few showers. Shower chance continues into Tuesday and Wednesday, but the screaming message here is that today is the warmest day of my 7-day forecast. And Ashley, Mother's Day doesn't look too terrible. Maybe
okay.
1 or 2 showers, highs in the 60s.
I'll take that. It's like we're slowly pushing the rain off a little bit further, I love to share the fact that our commute is in really good shape this Friday morning. I mean, anytime you can look at downtown Portland and the interchanges here and see no red on the map at 7 o'clock in the morning, that is a wonderful thing. I'll give you guys a closer look here at the Fremont Bridge. This is I-405, the lower deck. You can see cars speeding right along there. We are going to transition here to the east side gateway area. This is Interstate 84 at Halsey. You can see no slow ups there either. The only slow up I was tracking this morning was a crash a little bit earlier in the 5 and 6 o'clock hour, and that was on southbound I-5, 2 lanes, and that cleared after about an hour or so. And we haven't seen much since then. This is Sunset Highway at Washington Park, and take one look a little bit further south, I-5 at Nyberg into Tualatin. And a reminder for those of you who do take the Max Blue Line, if you've had to take shuttle buses here for the last 2 weeks, that is coming to an end this weekend. The end of the East Burnside Max Improvement Project means things are all good. Guys.
Thank you, Ashley.
His searches include the words forced, passed out, drugged, sleeping. Does that mean anything to you?
Interesting, isn't it? These are all themes of power, domination, and control.
Yeah, coming up in just 2 minutes, new video showing the moments leading up to the murder of 4 University of Idaho students. What investigators say Kohberger's search before allegedly committing those crimes. Sunrise streaming at 7 continues right after this.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We do want to tell you about some breaking news that we're covering this morning.
Police are asking some people to stay inside their homes.
For the past few hours, we've watched officers coming and going.
Flames blowing in this wind that's been gusting all morning long.
There are level 3 go now evacuation orders in place.
New information that we just got from Portland police.
There is no danger to the public. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Stream extended coverage right here on KGW Plus.
We're getting a first look at new video taken moments before the murders of 4 University of Idaho students in 2022.
The trial for their accused killer, Brian Kohberger, is set to start in August. Coming up tonight, a new Dateline special will reveal new details about the case. Here's Dateline's Keith Morrison with a preview.
For 2.5 years, this scene has only been described in court documents until now. This video, obtained exclusively by Dateline, shows a white car on King Road in Moscow, Idaho on November 13th, 2022. At the wheel, the state will allege, was Brian Kohberger, making repeated passes near a house where minutes later 4 students were stabbed to death. Kohberger has pleaded not guilty to all charges. This and other materials from our trusted sources, presented now for the first time in public, are part of a digital trail from before and after the murders of students Maddie Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Materials like records from Koberger's cell phone in the possession of law enforcement now, showing the phone calls he made shortly after the murders to a phone linked to his parents, just before he took a now infamous thumbs-up selfie. And Google searches regarding serial killers, including Ted Bundy, and searches for a particular kind of pornography. His searches include the words forced, passed out, drugged, sleeping. Does that mean anything to you?
Interesting, isn't it? These are all themes of power, domination, and control.
After the murders, investigators discovered a sheath from a K-bar knife apparently left by the killer in one of the victim's beds. DNA found on that sheath has been linked to Brian Koberger. Dateline was the first to report that Koberger bought a K-bar knife 7 months before the murders. And now we've obtained records showing that after the murders, Koberger was back on Amazon looking at K-bars. He even clicked Buy Now and began the checkout process before exiting. Koberger's trial is scheduled for August. Keith Morrison, NBC News, Los Angeles.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free. On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus.
We do want to tell you about some breaking news that we're covering this morning.
Police are asking some people to stay inside their homes.
For the past few hours, we've watched officers coming and going.
Flames blowing in this wind that's been gusting all morning long.
There are level 3 go now evacuation orders in place.
New information that we just got from Portland police.
There is no danger to the public. We'll keep you updated as we learn more.
Stream extended coverage right here on KGW Plus.
Good morning. I'm Ashley Grams with your traffic report. Our commute is in great shape on this Friday morning. Love to give you that news today. It's about 7:29. I'll give you guys a look here on the east side, Interstate 84 at 53rd Avenue, and of course a look on the west side as well, Sunset Highway at the zoo exit. I'm not tracking any major delays at this point. Chris?
Yeah, that looks good, right? Friday light, as we like to say. All right, the light is up. It is bright and it is sunny right now over downtown Portland from our Wells Fargo sky camera. 46 degrees last check at PDX. The freezing level today is a good 2,000 feet higher than it was yesterday, which means in general, the air mass above us is warmer than it was yesterday. And wouldn't you know, I've got us up at about 78 to maybe as high as 80 for highs this afternoon. Gradual increase in some high thin cloud cover, but otherwise a really nice looking day today. Tomorrow the clouds get a little thicker. Not out of the question we see a sprinkle, but I think we're generally dry with more clouds on Saturday, 72. And then there is the shower threat. 1 or 2 light rain showers on Mother's Day Sunday with a high of 64.
We are stuck in the studio here to start the 7:30 half hour, but not Eric Patterson. Our sunrise photographer is out and about, and this morning he's in Troutdale checking out some of the gardens at McMiniman's Edgefield. So Edgefield is hosting a big event on Mother's Day. That's this Sunday, of course. Good morning, moms. The event is called Mother Earth Plant Sale and Eco Fair. They've got tours of the grounds there, free workshops on Sunday with gardening experts. A live interview with one of the Edgefield gardeners is coming up here on our Sunrise Show at 7:45. I want to say good morning to the sunrise this morning.
Yeah. Good morning. Wow.
Yeah, raise me right up for it.
Uplifting. Hey, thank you so much for joining us at 7:30 on streaming. We have traffic and weather to get to you. We're going to start you off with some weather.
And we've got a gorgeous Friday. Today, the nicest day, or the warmest day of my 7-day forecast. And we'll start off with this gorgeous. This almost looks like a painting, doesn't it, from the Chehalem Tasting Room in Sherwood. The sun is up. There's the silhouette of Mount Hood being obscured because it's so bright and sunny out there. 44 last check in Sherwood. We're up to 46 at the airport right now. And the freezing level, I bring that up because it's higher. The temperature, how high up in the atmosphere you have to go to hit freezing, you've got to go up almost to the elevation of Mount Hood, 11,000 feet or so, to see that. So the air mass above us is a little warmer this morning than it was yesterday. 46 right now in Sherwood, McMinnville. 45 Salem. We hop over the Cascades. We're in the low 40s to low 50s right now in Pendleton, Baker City, and John Day. These numbers have already come up significantly in the last hour, and they will continue warming into the 80s this afternoon. And we may get there in the valley, too. I've got Portland stopping just shy of 78, but it's not out of the question that somebody hits 80 this afternoon, which if we did, would be our 5th 80-degree day of the spring so far. Today, the warmest day of my 7-day. We stair-step it down a little bit tomorrow. And then, Ashley, there is rain in the Sunday Mother's Day forecast. I'll walk you through that with Futurecast.
Chris, I feel like I just feel like I just learned something. You're just talking about the freezing level there. I got a little science lesson on this Friday morning. I don't have any major crashes or slowdowns to tell you about this morning. I mean, take a look at that green all the way through North Portland into Vancouver. We'll give you guys a closer look from this ODOT camera at Jansen Beach. This is not far from the Interstate Bridge. Plenty of elbow room out there, and that's kind of the same story here on the east side as well. Interstate 84 at 53rd Avenue. We were only tracking one major crash this morning, and that cleared around the 6 o'clock hour or so. This is on the west side, Sunset Highway at the Zoo exit there for you. And we'll take one look a little bit further south as well. This is near Tualatin. Now, a reminder for those of you who do take the Max Blue Line. We've been talking about this for the past 2 weeks or so because of that East Burnside Max Improvement Project that started back in April, and it now ends this weekend. So if you've been taking some shuttle buses, well, you won't have to do that anymore, guys.
All right, thank you, Ashley. We do have an update here at 7:30 on an overnight shooting we've been covering this morning in Northeast Portland. Police tell us that they responded to this call just before 2 o'clock this morning in front of Trinity Lutheran Church near the intersection of Northeast 55th and Killingsworth. That's where they found. That's where they say they found one injured woman. She was conscious. She was found in a playground near the church. They tell us she was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. So far, they have not made any arrests. This shooting remains under investigation.
For the first time ever, an American will lead the Catholic Church. Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost from Chicago was picked as Pope on the second day of the conclave.
Now, Pope Leo XIV, Thomas Schultz. Thomas in the studio here with us. Definitely a surprise pick for a lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of people surprised around the world and here in Portland as well. We spoke with Portlanders attending Mass yesterday, along with priests and the Archbishop of Portland. All were stunned the new Pope is an American, and they're elated a new leader was chosen so quickly. At the University of Portland, bells rang on campus for an hour after cardinals back in Vatican City elected a new pope. And those we spoke with hope Pope Leo XIV leads in a similar fashion as Pope Francis, who welcomed all to the church.
When I got the news, I immediately wanted to come down, take a moment and be part of Mass and just be grateful for the fact that we now have a new pope.
I think he's in that same spirit of Francis, a love for the poor, concern for those marginalized, but also fiscally and administratively sound.
Love and fiscally sound, that's what they're looking for there. In his first message to the world, Pope Leo XIV spoke about peace and unity, messages Catholic followers in Portland hope resonate throughout his papacy. China.
Thank you, Thomas. Senators from Oregon and Washington are warning that the Trump administration's cuts to the U.S. Forest Service could impact the coming wildfire season. Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley and Washington Senator Patty Murray say more than 3,400 probationary workers at the Forest Service have lost their jobs due to cuts from DOGE. That includes more than 500 workers here in the Northwest.
Trump is taking a match to the front line of defense for our forests and our communities. So we are here today to pull the fire alarm, and we're going to set off some sirens.
The senators say about 75% of Forest Service staff are trained in wildland firefighting and play a crucial role in maintaining public lands and supporting suppression efforts.
Washington County released some of the findings from the county's most recent point-in-time count. So the count is used to determine how many people are experiencing homelessness on a given night. This year's count happened in January, and the total number was 940. That's up from 618 people in 2020, but county officials say that jump is partly due to shelter expansions, which make it easier to identify people who are homeless. They also say 70% of the people considered chronically homeless who managed to get into a shelter last year have since found more stable housing.
Washington Supreme Court has ruled that a state law banning high-capacity magazines is constitutional. The 2022 law bans the sale, manufacture, and import of magazines that hold more than 10 rounds.
In Washington, D.C., a group of senators grilled the CEOs of Microsoft and OpenAI yesterday about artificial intelligence. The Senate Committee of Commerce, Science, and Transportation wants to know how the U.S. can get ahead of China in the AI race. Here's Washington Senator Maria Cantwell questioning Microsoft CEO Brad Smith.
The issue here is if we want to move fast, we want to create, just like with electricity, the standards by which we want to move fast.
We will need industry standards. We will need American adoption of standards. And you are right, we will need U.S. efforts to really ensure that the world buys into these standards.
The CEOs told the Senate panel that investment in AI infrastructure will be the key to advancing the AI revolution here in the U.S.
Governor Tina Kotek has signed a bill that allows lottery winners in Oregon to stay anonymous. So names and addresses will now be exempt from public disclosure unless the winner gives written consent. Lottery groups have said that disclosing winners' names is important for public transparency and shows that random everyday people are winning these prizes. That law is set to take effect next year.
Mother's Day coming up on Sunday. Happy Mother's Day in advance to all the moms watching us this morning. We're taking another live look at McMenamins Edgefield in Troutdale. Eric Patterson coming out from behind the bushes there. Checking out that awesome property that is McMenamins Edgefield. So they're hosting a big Mother's Day event on Sunday. They're calling it the Mother's Day Plant Sale and Eco Fair. Mother Earth, actually, the Mother Earth Plant Sale and Eco Fair. Offering tours of the grounds, free workshops all day with gardening experts. We're going to have more on this event coming up here at 7:45. With some great looks all morning out there in Troutdale by way of Eric Patterson.
Look how green it is.
Well, you know, we have not gotten into the real dry parts of the year yet, Chris, and hopefully we will get some of that much needed rain here.
Spring has definitely sprung, and yeah, to your point, it typically the drier weather is not until later, but it has been dry. And just a quick point to that, the rainfall that we do have in our forecast on Sunday, not terribly heavy, and I'll show you that in just a minute. But first, let me show you this. This is pretty. Mount Jefferson, Three Sisters off in the distance. This camera shot from Timberline Lodge, 6,000 feet on Mount Hood, pointed to the south. You can see kind of a high, thin veil of cloud cover across the region this morning. It's 47 degrees, by the way, up at 6,000 feet. The air mass above us is warmer this morning than it was yesterday, and that will lead to warmer temperatures for all of us this afternoon. It's 44 right now in the Dalles with a light east breeze. The breeze will really pick up westerly tomorrow in the gorge and over downtown Portland. The sun is up. It's 46 degrees right now at PDX. It's 43 in Hillsborough. Sherwood has jumped up to 53 at last check, and right now Salem sits at 45. The forecast in the valley today, mid-70s, so easily several degrees warmer than yesterday. Salem gets up to about 76. We head up the I-5 corridor. Longview likely in the mid-70s today. Vancouver 78. So across the metro area, a good 76 to maybe 79 or 80 is the call for today. Warmer than yesterday for sure. The beach, Partly sunny with increasing clouds late in the day and highs in the 60s. The gorge looks really nice today with temperatures easily into the 80s for the Dow or Hood River and out towards the Dalles, and across the rest of the region, mid 80s possible out towards Baker City and Arlington after a start this morning in the upper 30s. So a big warm up for you. All right, futurecast real quick. Not much going on today or tomorrow, but let's fast forward into early tomorrow morning, maybe some sprinkles at the coast, and then Sunday, Mother's Day. I'll stop the clock here. You do see some green blobs on the map in the morning. The better chance for showers will be in the afternoon. And that said, there's not a lot of rain in those showers. I wanted to point this out, that our modeling has backed off the rainfall amounts for Sunday. We're talking maybe a few hundredths to a tenth of an inch on Sunday, holding off the heavier rain, it appears, until later Sunday night or Monday. I've got a little lightning bolt there on Monday. There is a chance of a thunderstorm there with a high of 64. Today, the warmest day of my 7-day forecast, a little cooler on Saturday. And yes, Mother's Day does have a few showers, but also quite a bit of dry time on Sunday. Ashley?
I like this. We're not letting anyone forget that it's Mother's Day. Take your mom out, or that woman who is your motherly figure. Give her some love. Got some good news here for those of you who are heading out to commute this Friday morning. Things look really good on the map. You can see there 205 heading over the Glen Jackson Bridge. Lots of room and no delays there to speak of. The only slow spot that you might have seen a little bit further down on your map there was on Interstate 84. So I'll give you a look there. This is Interstate 84 at 86. And it just looks like that traffic is starting to build. We start to see a little bit more volume here at about 7:30 in the morning. So this is definitely not out of the normal. We'll take it over to the west side. This is Sunset Highway through Tannisbourne at 185th. Plenty of elbow room out there. And then a little bit further in as they get toward the city here, you see that volume build again. This is Sunset Highway at Washington Park before you get to the tunnel. Here's a look at your drive times. We're starting to see things slow down just a little bit for those of you heading southbound. I-5 over the Interstate Bridge down into Portland this morning, but other than that, things not too bad. Just a slight slowing on East 26 and West 84. Guys.
Thank you, Ashley. Portland's largest theater company says it could be in the danger of closing unless it raises millions of dollars. So with rising costs and declining ticket sales following the pandemic, Portland Center Stage says it needs to raise $2.5 million by August 31st, or it'll have to cease operations. Now, if they don't raise a total of $9 million by June of 2026, they'll have to close for good.
We are quite a nimble organization without the reserves that we need. Navigating lower earned income, lower ticket sales actually puts us up against a wall. So that's why we've had to come out right now.
This comes as other local theaters like Portland Playhouse face cuts from the Trump administration. Portland Center Stage, however, says federal dollars make up a relatively small amount of their budget. Recent cuts to U.S. foreign aid by the Trump administration are now starting to have an impact on global humanitarian work.
In February, the administration cut more than 80% of funding at the U.S. Agency for International Development in an attempt to reduce waste and spending. A former U.S. ambassador and foreign aid leader says the impacts of those cuts are now being felt globally and are shutting down some programs. On this week's edition of Straight Talk, KGW's Stephanie Domerat sat down with two local international aid experts. They talked about what's happening right now in the foreign aid sector and what it means long term.
The colleagues in other organizations I talk to see this as a fundamental restructuring. I don't think it's a short-term thing. I think it's a major restructuring that we have to manage and have to reimagine ourselves as a sector, how we do the work that we do. But politically, things change. They swing the other direction. There'll likely be a positive developments later. But I think it's a fundamental shift.
They also covered misconceptions about foreign aid spending during this episode of Straight Talk. You can watch it, by the way, a couple of times this weekend. It airs Saturday and Sunday night at 6:30. You can also catch it Monday night at 7 o'clock. And you can watch it anytime you want for free on our TV app, KGW+. Eric Patterson, the job this morning was to go out and find some beauty out there in Troutdale. And he has found plenty of it on the property of McMinimans Edgefield, which is hosting a big Mother's Day event on Sunday. They're calling it the Mother Earth Plant Sale and Eco Fair. Coming up here in 2 minutes, we're going to hear from one of the Edgefield gardeners, Annalise Michelson. She'll tell us more about this event on Sunday as Sunrise, streaming at 7 o'clock, continues after this.
KGW's Evening News. Important stories to help you stay informed and keep your family safe.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Christine Pitawanich.
And I'm David Molko.
Weather impact alerts to help you plan your week.
We need to be extra careful with anything that can throw a spark.
And a team of local journalists connected to our community. David Molko, Christine Pitawanich, and Matt Zaffino. Your evening news team, tonight on KGW.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news, live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
This morning, we've been taking these live looks at the gardens over at McMenamins Edgefield in Troutdale because the gardeners there are getting ready for their first ever Mother's Day plant sale and eco fair. They're calling it the Mother Earth Plant Sale and Eco Fair.
So if you're still looking for something to do with moms on Sunday, they're offering free access to the gardens this Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. They're also offering tours of the grounds and free workshops with gardener experts like our guest here this morning, Annalise Michelson. So Annalise, good morning, and tell us what people can look forward to this Sunday.
Good morning. Yeah, in addition to having an awesome array of vendors and nonprofits so people can come pick up some plants or learn more, we also really are offering a speaker series, which is going to be pretty unique too. So definitely buy tickets online if you want to tour the gardens or if you want to learn more about the history or about Portland beekeeping or boosting biodiverse habitat in your own yard.
I know that you help keep the upkeep of the grounds there. I guess a looser term would be an Edgefield gardener. So what does that full-time responsibility entail exactly?
Oh, it's full time. We've got an awesome team of 5 gardeners and 2 seasonal workers that are working around the clock to keep this place beautiful and blooming. We're always doing some pruning, always tons of weeding, and lots of planting of gorgeous native plants that are climate adapted so that we hope everyone can come out and enjoy the grounds and the scenery.
Last question for you, Annalise. I'm sure there are a lot of people here with green thumbs that are watching and saying, I want to check that out. But let's say you take mom to this event and she loves the gardening, but the person who's with her, whether it's a husband, son, whoever it may be, is not that into the gardening. Are there other things happening during this event that might please everyone?
Oh yeah, Edgefield is always a happening place, so you're welcome to go grab some beer and walk around. We have our golf course that will be open the same day too, so options for everyone, options for the whole family.
Annalise Michelson, one of the gardeners out there at McMenamins Edgefield, getting ready for that big event. We'll let our viewers know about it one more time here. Information on your screen. It is Sunday and Sunday only. Mother's Day, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. There's more information. Nothing about tickets because this event is free, but there's more information about the event at McMenamins.com.
Golf and beer, I'm sure there's some folks.
Now you brought all the guys out. Yeah, right?
Everybody's happy now.
Pretty cool course over there too. It's like a pitch and putt course.
It is.
It's really
it is.
neat.
No drivers needed. It's just a sand wedge and yeah, super cool. Hey, today is this is the time of the morning where we like to give a shout out to the dog of the day. So I want to introduce you to today's dog of the day. This is Wrigley. Thank you, Catherine Marshall, for sharing. If you want to get a proper sunrise shout out to your favorite four-legged friend, use that email address on the bottom of your screen. All one word, dogoftheday@kgw.com. That's Wrigley. Wrigley's a cutie. All right, let's talk about the weather because that's what we're here to do today. And we are here to show you a blue sky over downtown Portland's 46 last check at PDX. Elsewhere, 43 Hillsborough, Battleground hovering around 40 after a start in the upper 30s. So we are already starting to ease some of the chill that we started with the morning at. 50 right now on John Day. Pendleton sits at 51. The plan for our Friday, lots of sunshine. Today is easily the warmest day of my 7-day forecast. I've got us at 78. It's not out of the question that we hit 80 in Portland, but I'll keep us at 78. If we hit 80, that would be our 5th 80-degree day of the spring so far. And actually, Futurecast likes us getting to 80. Mid to upper 70s up and down the I-5 corridor and east of the Cascades. The Dalles, Arlington, 83, 81, Pendleton, John Day, about 84, low to mid 60s along the Oregon coast today. All right, here's the big picture. Not much going on today, so let's go out a little wider. There's our storm system for the weekend, and it looks kind of impressive, but here's the deal. This is going to split a little bit, and the bulk of the energy initially is going to target southern Oregon and northern California, and what that means for us is that we get kind of a glancing blow on Saturday, or Sunday, I should say, Mother's Day, which means while we have had rain or the threat of showers in the forecast for Mother's Day Sunday, it still does not look like a lot of rain. And as our higher resolution models get a better grasp in this is Sunday morning at 8:44 a.m. You see a few green dots here and there indicating the potential for a shower or two. The shower threat increases in the afternoon, but again, I think we're talking about a 30-minute shower and then that's it, and maybe another 30-minute shower and that's it. And what that means is that the total cumulative rainfall for Sunday is not very much. We're talking about a few hundredths of an inch to maybe a tenth of an inch in Portland. Modeling favors more frequent and heavier showers coming in Sunday night and Monday as cooler air comes in aloft, and I point that out with our snowfall. Yes, it is possible that there is a light dusting of snow up in the Cascades Sunday night and Monday. As the snow level lowers, the atmosphere gets a little colder, and that could set the stage for some thunder showers on Monday. How about the roads on this Friday morning, Ashley? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. We'll get to those. I forgot your birthday. I didn't forget your birthday. I would never forget your birthday, nor would I forget Bennett's birthday. Bennett is 7 years old today. Happy birthday to you in Vancouver. Amber is 34. Happy birthday to you, Miss Amber. Stacy is rocking 61 years young today on this May the 9th. And last but not least, Penny is 78 years old today as well. Happy birthday to everyone celebrating a birthday on this May 9th. If you want to get a proper sunrise shout out, you have the birthday and then you or maybe one of your friends or relatives sends your birthday greeting to birthdays at kgw.com. You do that and we do the shouting out part.
Yes, that was the shout out. We love to celebrate with you, so please send those in. And the commute this morning, man, we are in really good shape for this time of the morning on a Friday. We'll start here in North Portland. This is not far from the Interstate Bridge, and while we do start to see more drivers joining that commute, it really looks like there's not too much of a delay here for folks, at least in North Portland. We'll also see that traffic building here on Interstate 84. This is 84 at 37th as those folks head into the downtown area this morning. We'll then move over to the west side. This is Sunset Highway at Washington Park. And then a reminder for those of you who've been taking shuttle buses for the Max Blue Line, you won't have to do that anymore as this improvement project ends.
Ashley, thank you. This morning, we're looking ahead to a Dateline special report into the University of Idaho murder suspect Brian Koberger. He's the man set to go on trial for allegedly stabbing 4 students to death in an off-campus house. Tonight, in a 2-hour episode called The Terrible Night on King Road, Dateline is revealing never before reported details, including video and digital evidence that investigators say tracks Brian Koberger's movements.
We're able to tell you what kind of material Brian Koberger was downloading on his phone, who he was calling, where he was calling from, when he was calling, what his timeline was, what his interests were.
The special will also include interviews with friends of the victims and former students who open up about first time about their interactions with the accused killer. The 2-hour Dateline special airs tonight at 9 right here on KGW. We'll be right back.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
police are asking some people to stay inside their homes.
We've watched officers coming and going.
Flames blowing in this wind.
There is no danger to the public. We'll keep you updated.
Stream extended coverage right here on KGW+.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Mother's Day is Sunday. Cough, cough, cough. And if you're looking for another thing to do this Mother's Day, that's Sunday, cough, 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 head over to Oaks Park. On Sunday, moms will get a complimentary ride bracelet when they buy a ride bracelet for their child. And this includes unlimited access to all the rides. All you have to do is ask the ticket booth about it.
No. I'm picturing my mom showing up at Oaks Park and buying a ride bracelet for the two of us. I got one for my son over here. Can I have? My mom would just probably kill me if I ever took her to Oaks Park and stuck her on a roller coaster. She wants no parts of that scene.
But there's food.
Yeah, no, Oaks Park is fun. And my mom would enjoy watching others enjoy the rides, but she wants no parts.
Son.
Yeah.
I think it would be the husbands get the kids to the Oaks Park and the moms get to stay home and relax.
By themselves. There you go.
I will say one more shout out to Oaks Park. We had our kid's 5th birthday there, I think, and it was a great 5th birthday party. So there you go. Oaks Park.
And my mom has been with me to Oaks Park with our children, and she will probably not do it again. Thanks, Mom. Appreciate it. Here's your forecast for the weekend. 78 today, 72 on Saturday. Yes, a few showers on Mother's Day Sunday, 64.
And we've got some drive times for you, just a little bit slow this morning, heading southbound to get you down to I-405. I think we're in good shape on the other drive times as well. Yep, East 26 and West 84, a little bit slow, but for this time of the morning, we are in great shape.
Sunrise show on a Friday morning, wrapping it up here on the streaming hour. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back Monday morning, 3 full hours, the final one, of course, right here on KGW+ as we take this last look at McMinniman's Edgefield out in Troutdale before their big Mother's Day event on Sunday.